Well, good morning everybody. Welcome to Stockradar Stocks on the Move for another week and another year. Today's date is the 8th of the 1st, 2026. My name is Richard Lee and I manage the stockradar.com.au website for you. Well, 2026, a new beginning. We always go back to our basics, get rid of all the clutter, try and focus on what we really want to do. So I'm going to try and start off with that today for you. Trend following lights up the path ahead. That's my creed, that's my motto, that's how I make money. And I try and help you guys understand the simplicity of doing this sort of stuff. The stock market is a very uncomplicated place if we let it be. Okay, so as to the markets themselves, well, the banks turning a little bit in the highs, a bit interesting there. We'll have a look at one of those banks later on. The miners are on an absolute belter at the moment. Read trends. BSL takeover, well, we just missed that one. We had it on alert for a while, but didn't quite get there, but that's the way it is. We move on from there. First filter for trend followers is higher highs and higher lows, which is always where I start. Okay, so there's no lower lows, lower highs for me. I just keep it really simple and cluttered. I only trade long trends, and that's what I do. Uptrends, and that's what I do. The lower lows and high stocks, the lower lows and lower high stocks are filtered out from my stock pick count. Okay, so then I start to focus on the ones that we've got. ASX Prospect. Currently, I've got 49 of 160 stocks as stock picks, and of those 49 stocks, 25 of them are miners. So there's a bit of an idea of what the market's doing at the moment for you. So this gives us a great starting point when we're doing our analysis, just filtering out these things so we can get a good block of stocks that we want to look at. The market itself, breadth is very bad. Most leaders look very shonky, just going through the scans every night. Looking at some of these banks, some of these health stocks, some of these tech stocks just look awful at the moment. So I don't know what's holding this market up at the moment. Maybe just it is the miners, and hopefully they continue to do so. So I don't really care what's holding up the market, so I just really care about trends, and so that we can follow those trends. That's all we do. We don't predict, we don't forecast. We identify trends and then we follow them because we know trends take us often quite a lot further than we think. So safety and sensibility and odds is really what I'm about. Okay, so that's really not an uncomplicated thing. So as I said before, there are quite a lot of stocks coming down, and I look at the market and some of these new lows that are being made, quite scary. But soon the big trend reversal will start to appear, and that's exiting as the roundabout of opportunities continues to rotate, as it always does. It's just a matter of getting the right stage when the stock starts to take a swing higher. They will turn at some stage. It's just a matter of getting in the right time, not anticipating, not predicting, just waiting for it all to happen. So we build the evidence and the odds and focus on following trends, which helps our safety and our confidence levels as we follow the trade plan as it directs us to the prospect. So it's really just as it's a process, not the outcome situation. We're always working on that process to get to our stocks that take us to where we want to go, returns on equity. Okay, so 2026, a new beginning for everybody. Trend following lights up the path ahead, and that's what we're going to be doing for most of this year. Okay, so then I'm going to go into my trend intensity ratings, and hello, just about all the miners, so from Independence to NIC, Bellevue Gold, Rio, Ramilius, Ora Banda. South 32 is doing really well again. Sandfire's blasting off. BHP is looking good again, as is Genesis. So there's just a whole lot of stocks there, and you can see Rio Tinto there on the right there. It's been an amazing stock this year. It's run in the last 6 months up 50%, which is $100 to $152. And it's starting to make new highs there, and it's looking like it's all testing its all-time highs here at R2. So interesting situation. The banks may not be doing it. They were threatening to make new highs, and they're now looking a little bit wobbly. And now we've got a couple of these other ones here. Rio Tinto, BHP's a little way off here, a couple of bucks off yet, BHP, but still we keep an eye on these. South 32 is moving. Some of these stocks are really doing very nicely at the moment. So hold on for your hats. This market is still running on nicely. So stock pick count. This is from a couple of weeks ago when before Christmas. So we had 5 new stock picks over the last couple of weeks. So we're up to 49 stock picks of 160 stocks covered. I've revamped the Data Universe, which will come out again next week, the new stocks and the exit and stock that I'm not covering at the moment. But 160 stocks is where I'm left at the moment. So over the last 2 weeks, we have had 5 stocks in and none out. So we always saw a few out before. We had a few in this week, and I got a funny feeling they might have been mostly minus. Anyway, that's the trend intensity rankings. Portfolios are full and doing very nicely, especially some of those miners in there that are doing so well. So we're happy about that. We'll review the portfolios in the next couple of weeks. Okay, now overseas markets. Let's go first to the Dow Jones. Happy. Starting the year off nicely, nice little rally, making new highs. Volume's okay. It's a bit tainted by all these indices will be a bit low volume because of the holiday period, Christmas period. But everything else, moving average and momentum, are all pretty positive. So starting the year on a good note and continuing off where they left off on until 2025. Same with the S&P 500. Again, no real change there. Nasdaq, again, it had a little bit of a selling wobble back here a couple of weeks ago, but seems to have held it pretty well. It's not making new highs at the moment, so it's a slight change, but it's shot across the bow, nothing to really worry about, just things to observe for the moment. So, and I know our tech stocks, WiseTech, Technology One, Prometheus, all these tech-based, all these stocks have had a pretty nasty time of late. Telex Communications as well. So they'll come into our laps at some stage, and we'll get some nice reversals there, but it's not happening yet. And we're getting pretty healthy corrections. And why we now use stops now, because some of these corrections have been enormous. And we do not want to play in that field. We don't want to carry drawdowns. I'd rather get out and review the situation, get back in later on. Okay, so now we look at our market, which is a little bit different because we really don't have much supporting it apart from the miners at the moment. So we can see here, now I've got a few little points I've drawn in here. We can see where S1 is now our immediate support and R1 our immediate resistance, which is faltering out a little bit at the moment. So above there we've got the old highs at R2, and then below the S1 area we've got that area down around 7,800, 7,600, where the next major support is, which is a previous low and a previous high there. So we're keeping an eye on that. You can see the momentum has dived off there pretty badly, so it really is pick your stocks as always at the moment rather than follow the index too much. Okay, because there's not a lot in that ASX 20 that is actually going up. Okay, so that's the ASX 200. Gold, it just continues on its merry way. We had a sell-off last week. It's back up again this week. We're getting slightly lower volume again. Sort of the holiday period makes the things a little bit different. But everything else is positive. As I say, the moving average and momentum indicators are positive, so that's keeping everything alight there, and the uptrend is intact, no problem there. Copper's the interesting one, really has blasted off, helped BHP, helped Sandfire, all those copper stocks, Rio Tinto, which has gone bang bang. And now copper's making a new high at the moment, which is interesting. We've also started to get a bit of volume starting to appear here. Momentum's good, and moving average indications are good. So that's a bit of a no-no, that one there. That was probably from a while ago. I want to get rid of that. So volume has started to appear here, and we're getting new highs. So copper's looking pretty good. The trend is up at last, and we've broken through these significant areas, these little resistance levels here pretty well. And this has been a pretty good move since July of last year. From where it was around at 446, it's now up around 6. So copper's looking pretty good at the moment. Okay, so that's good for the miners. And then, of course, Brent crude, is that looking any better? Well, not really. It's sitting on its lows there. Can't seem to find a friend. I haven't got any comments in here, I don't think, really. No, I haven't got anything there. This is flat. Moving average is flat. It's all very dull and uninteresting for Brent crude. So let's not worry about that too much. Let's not waste too much time on that one. Okay, so that's the overseas markets. As you can see, the indices are the same. Commodities looking okay apart from Brent crude. Even Venezuela couldn't spark that off there. So it's certainly in dire straits at the moment. So let's get to a few stocks. I've just got a few stocks for you this week. Just trying to focus you on what I do. My recap last week, I caught a lot of stocks with a lot of trends that we caught last year. It wasn't an amazing year. It was a year to make money, and a fantastic year. So we just got to make sure that we're in the right spot. We just follow the trends. We don't worry. We don't think maybe if, but, all that sort of stuff. We just do it. And that's why we're onto all these good mining trends at the moment. For those who want to have a look at what I've got, the mining sector, go to the trading centre on Stockradar. It will tell you all about exactly what I've got. And there's an awful lot of them, 25 of them, I think now, out of probably about 30 or so that we cover. So it really is a little warm spot for those markets. Okay, I promised you before we look at the banks, ANZ is what I want to look at today. Now we know we've got the all-time highs up here, which it's hit, and we've talked about this before. This little uptrend here looked pretty good. It's faltered here. We are still in this stock. We're still holding this stock. We've now had a second attempt, and we're now looking like we're failing. So things are starting to look a little bit wobbly. Again, it's pretty difficult because we've got a holiday-tainted volume period, which makes it a little bit tricky. So we're just going to watch this S1 down here, see what happens there, and also, of course, our stop. Trend intensity is still rating at 8. So it's evenly poised with a battle ahead here. So we've got the sellers have certainly hit this market here. The buyers haven't really dropped in yet because of the holidays, but the sellers may slightly ease off too because it's January. But you can see the pattern here, and it does worry me when I get a little lower high like that, and it starts to test S1, it starts to break down there, then that's looking not so good for the banks after all. And you can also look at a couple of them. We know CBA's come off, but NAB and Westpac are also interesting charts to look at as well. So just keep your eye on those banks as to what you're doing. You may want to lighten off if you've got a few of those at the moment. Okay, so that's ANZ. Let's go to the more exciting side of the market now, and that's this one called Rio Tinto, which we looked at before to start off with, and we can see this beautiful move that it's had up here since July, I think last year, since June, when it was around $100. It's now 152, and this is the all-time highs up here we've hit bang on yesterday. So an interesting situation for Rio. I can go right back here, and you can see it's right back here in 2008 where that old high is, and so we're now back to it in 2026. Some quite a few years later. So Rio Tinto, it's up 50% in 6 months. The volumes have all been good. Momentum has all been good. You know, it may well smash through this high and continue on. So the trend is up. We follow the trend. We raise our stop. So if it does do there, we're certainly in it if it does happen. So Rio Tinto is looking fantastic. Some of these miners really just do move. Nickel Industries, which we entered here not long ago. A little break up here. Again, this is a very, very classical trend reversal, which we'll have a look at a little bit later on. But we've got support down here. We've got the rally. We've got the pullback to a higher low. Then we rally through that point there, which is the trend reversal point. We get a bit of volume starting to appear. If I just squeeze this up here, that little tick there, you can see we've got some nice volume that has appeared through here, and also the momentum. So now we're getting volume momentum and this price push as well. So a great little break for us here, and a really good move from higher there. And it's moving up to R1, which is a fairly significant area at the old high there. And this is the history of the chart. So this is an all-time high above there. It's rating 10 and looks very good, very classical looking pattern there, which doesn't always happen, but sometimes they're very messy. But still reading the patterns here, we can see it's in demand. The trend is up. So what do we just follow the trend with a stop loss. Okay. South 32 is another one that's moved off quite nicely. We've had a nice little trend reversal here from a big downtrend. We've got the nice little base here. We've got the volume appearing here. We've got the move above the average and the horizontal line. We get our trend reversal level. Momentum is looking good. So again, all the things we look at are aligned. So that's all we really need is we need the price, the volume, the moving average, and MACD. Those four things make up that's my decision-making process. So I'm not looking at dividends, I'm not looking at PEs, I'm looking at any of that fundamental data, purely price analysis, 4 elements that I look at to make my decisions, and that keeps it very, very simple. So, and you can see how the results have gone. So it's just, as I say, it's up to you how you want to follow these things, but it really is a fairly easy thing if we let it be. So South 32, trend intensity rating of 9. We can see the pattern here. It's now starting to make. There's been a great gains this week, all turning positive. Buyers appear here. Again, a little bit of a holiday-tainted period there, but that's not too big concern for us at the moment. While it's going up, we just raise the stop. Okay, so it's not all totally miners. There's just a few miners for you, and I could go through a lot more. But there's also a couple of industrials that are actually doing okay, believe it or not. Not many of them, but there's a couple of them. So this one here, ALS, which has been a fantastic stock for quite some time. We've seen all the volume through here, the momentum through here. It's slowed off a little bit here, that's for sure. So we've got a little shot across the bow up here at about 22.50 there. But we've certainly got the buyers are still keen and eager here to push this higher. So they're fairly happy about they think this is probably going to go higher. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But for the moment, we're still in an uptrend, still above our stop loss, so we're still holding it at the moment. So no real concerns at this stage for ALS, doing well. And another one that's just come into our radar a couple of months ago, which has been a long time downtrending stock, very disinterested, which has been Horizon, which finally has seemed to turn the corner, broken this short-term downtrend. It's been a lot higher than this. It's broken this short-term downtrend here. We get a break above the average trend line. Then we don't get a reversal level till up here because we didn't get enough inspiration from our volume and our moving averages. But if we look down here, we can see we're getting some good volume on the rallies here. It's looking pretty good, pushing the prices higher. The momentum is bullish. Moving average is bullish. So all the conditions are there. Trend intensity rating is +8. Probably got a little bit of volume there, diminished, but it's up 25% since the lows. and the lows were June of last year. So 6 months, it's had a good 25% rally, reversed the trend, and is now looking to move towards R1, which is up around $4, $4.20 for a ride. So it just looks nice, the chart. There's nothing to blow me away about it, but it just all looks constructive. Everything's in the right position, doing the right things. So we have no choice but to follow the trend, and it's a bit like our stop losses. We have no choice, but we have to hit our stop losses, because then we don't take big losses, and we don't ever want to do that. We don't like big losses. So there's little rules in place just to make sure that we stay on the straight and narrow. So if our trends here are in place, stop losses are in place, all those things that we must follow. And if we hit our stop loss, we're going to make sure we never take a big loss, and that's really, really important to what I do. Okay, the last one I'm going to go through is the one we looked at most of last year, which was AGL Energy. Again, it's fallen a bit flat over the last couple of weeks. It's had a bit of a weakness this week. All this is still constructive, the start of it. This is still a fairly good sign for the bottoming process. A pullback here is going to be interesting to see how low it goes. If it gets down to here and below, then the downtrend continues. If it holds above S1 and rallies through this area up here, then we're going to get a trend reversal. So we're just going to wait and see, but it is developing okay, AGL. So we'll just keep following that for you this year until we eventually get some sort of signal on there. Okay, so that's all the charts I've got for you today. There's lots of ones we can go through. Go to the trading centre if we want to look at all the stock that I cover, what I'm doing with them, whether I'm holding them or not, where my stop losses are, things like that. All there to make your life easier, which is what I try and do, and keeping it very simple. Okay, so that's about all the charts I've got for you today. Let's have a look down. I'm just going to a couple of notes here. TCL, which has been an interesting one. Transurban, boy, it's failed again at that 20 level. One day it's going to get through, but just can't do it again. So, we've got to be really careful about anticipating things, because it did look pretty good there for a while, but it just didn't get through, so we steered clear of it. The banks, I think, are all looking pretty average. Car, Rare and Seek looking terrible, really having a bit of a knock. Some of this AI stuff's really worrying that area of the market, I think. Health stocks are looking awful. Tech stocks are looking awful. It really is not a happy hunting ground at the moment for stocks in those areas. So I guess that does mean at some stage we will get a rally from those stocks. So don't worry, the market will tell us when it's ready, but for the moment it's not happening. It's like AGL, we just have to wait and be patient as to how this happens. Okay, so just to refresh today, I want to go through in my slides the trend reversal process. Just going back to the basics here, what I do, I'll go through the new high next week, just to recap on what it is and how simple it is, because I know during the year you'll look at the trend reversals, you might add a few things, take away a few things, and you might have got a little bit mussed up again. I just want to take you back to real basics of what it is. I've gone through a few charts for you today, but I just want to reiterate how it works and why it works. So the trend reversal. This is a process of evaluating a developing and confirmed uptrend in prices, and one that we can then follow. So we wait for a confirmed trend to develop and occur. Once it has, then we jump on. So we really are conservative. It's a bit like the tops. The stop is below 10 to 15% below the market. We have to wait for that to go off before we get off. But we don't know if it's going to come from here or here or here. So that's why we have that stop. But we always wait for the market to turn up before we buy it, turn down before we sell it. So we never sell a rising stock, never buy a falling stock. All those things we don't do. So, and also remember that trends will extend further than we think, always. Okay, whether it's Rio, who's just done 50%, or Sandfire, all these stocks that are making new highs, just continuing on. They will surprise us all the time, but don't let that alter you. Just follow your trade plan and you make sure you capture it. So I've got a little chart here called Champion Iron, which is another one of the miners there. And you can see down here, we've got a big downtrend here, followed by an accumulation pattern at a major low. Okay, so we've got all this evidence repealing. So support's appearing at a major low here. We get our trend reversal point sitting just up above here, the rally. Okay, after we get a high point, we put our trend reversal level in there. Then comes down, tests the low again, doesn't go below it. It then rallies through our trend reversal point, and we've got that support, we've got that for volume, we've got those changing things occurring. In this instance here, we've also got the moving average and momentum index also turning positive, and that's pretty early for the momentum index to turn. So, and the rally has been pretty good from $6 to, I can't even read that, so small. At the moment, it's around about 663, I think. There, the low is $4 to 663. So it's well on its way. R1's the next target up there for it. Trend intensity rating is 8, and that's just a very, very simple trend reversal. The same things that I talk about all the time are occurring, and that's the way markets work. Okay, so just to go through the process again, and we're going to use nickel industries, which we saw before, which is quite classical. I look for my base of support. So a lot of these stocks that are coming down, the health stocks, the tech stocks, just wait, there's no signs of support showing, so I'm not interested at the moment, okay? Once some signs of buying support appear, then I'm interested. Then I start evaluating. I look for my base of support. Is there enough volume there to support at a certain level? So I isolate that level. Like at S1 down here for nickel industries, just above 50, 55. Then we have a rally from that low, which creates an initial peak for the trend reversal level to be put on. So that initial rally is where I put my first peak. My first trend line goes across there. And that first rally also, there's a bit of volume there that also shows me a bit of interest there that some buyers are coming back. Okay, during this here, the momentum will start to stop dropping and will start to climb back towards zero here, which you can see was happened here. Fairly swift move back towards zero. And the price then challenges the moving average, which is done here. So the moving average is now gone flat, and the price is whipping around this, okay, at the moment. So we're just getting a picture that the market's changed from a downtrend into an accumulation phase. So we're now waiting for that uptrend phase to follow and develop. Okay, so the rally pulls back and creates a higher low, which is really nice here. A couple of higher lows here, which is really important because it just gives us that extra level of confidence that we've actually got a support level here. So I'm just really waiting for this point to go off now so I can jump on this stock. So the rally passes through the trigger point, creating a trend reversal. So all this thing that I've built up from the base of support, the rally, the momentum climbing, price challenging the moving average, we get the rally pull back to a higher low, then we get a pass through the trend reversal level, and that triggers it. So the charts give us a structure by which to look at a market and when to enter and when to exit. Not perfect, but pretty good odds on, and we really are trying to make very educated guesses in the situation. So I'm now looking for nickel industries, having finished its downtrend to now start rallying higher, and it is doing that, and it's now testing its highs. So that's just a trend reversal. Try and keep those steps simple. I've only got 5 or 6 steps there that you need to take. It's not a complicated thing, but that's the starting point for what I do in all my stocks. Next week I'll go through the new high, which is probably even simpler. We'll just talk a little bit about that and have a look at that. Okay, so there's my disclaimer there, which we all love to see. And of course, the initial chart, which shows you 2026, a new beginning for us all. Okay, now the last couple of years have been pretty amazing years. Every few years we get corrections, and we're probably well due for a correction. Nothing on the horizon yet, but just be careful what you've got. There's not a lot of stocks in the market, a lot of industrials that aren't. So a little bit of cash waiting is not a bad thing. So as we head into this 2026. Okay, so what else have I got for you? Christmas holiday. So newsletter will come out at the end of this month. No newsletter for Christmas period. I had a nice holiday. And ate too much and drank too much, but it was very nice indeed. And the weather's been nice in Melbourne, which is even great. We love to talk about the weather in Melbourne because one day it's bad, the next day it's really good, so go figure. But anyway, for the moment it's good, and that's what we like. Okay, so that's all I've got for today. Really, again, I'm going to reiterate and keep it simple, tight and focused, and don't be tempted by the call of the dollars, okay? Focus on the trade plan process and not the outcome. The outcome will deal with itself. Trading losses still occur, but the simpler, the better, the more reliable, okay, you will be. Costs must be controlled because you can. Big losses are optional. Big losses are a choice. Big losses are, I don't like them. And just big losses, you can just get rid of them, and it just makes your whole trading experience much better if you're not carrying those drawdowns. And mentally, it can be a real weight on your mind when you're carrying those. Well, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I just choose not to carry them. Okay, so that's about it for all I've got for you today. Happy New Year to everybody. Looking forward to a great year again this year. So during this year, make sure you watch your trends, which is most important. Hedge your stops, even more important. Keep it simple, have fun, stay safe, and I'm going to see you all next week. So thanks very much. Bye now.